on there is live. This Hangout on there is live. And that's been a while since I recorded, but come here, full screen. Yeah, son. Okay, present to everyone. All right, so now that I'm doing that, I could kill you, and I guess I could kill you too. Yes. Oh man, I got a new update on here. 15.9. Ugh. All right, so I'll install that later. What I want to do, I'm just going to have a therapy session. There's a lot of things on my mind right now, and I could either run, lift weights, or I could write some code. So I'm gonna write some code, right? So build a new solution. We're going to call this. Let me see. This is a solution. We're going to call this get. And I'm on my normal laptop, not on my work laptop. So it's going to take me a while to get used to this keyboard, but we're going to call this get a ride. Get a ride. Okay. And yes, come here, get a ride. I want this. This is okay right now. I think this is okay right now. Maybe later I want to make this a Xamarin Forms app from the get-go. No, I don't. We're just going to call this get a ride. Yeah. So create a new solution called get a ride. I think this is set to F sharp. If not, we'll just remove a C sharp project and re-add a F sharp project. And yeah, that was C sharp. Okay, so Control Alt L. What's this? So my live XAML. Yes. Control Alt L is Solution Explorer, and right click on just get a ride. And I didn't mean for this to be a C sharp project, so I am going to remove the project from my solution, and that's removed. Then I'm going to delete you in the actual directory, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and add a new project, yes. And we're straight F sharp, yes, come here, okay? And we're going to do class library.net standard, okay? Now, just get a ride. This is going to be kind of inspired by domain-driven design, and honestly, I probably won't even code more than just an hour for this entire project, because meaning that this is going to be yet another incomplete application, right? But this is inspired by domain-driven design. So what does that mean? It means get a ride is going to be similar to Uber or Lyft, right? And so you can think of some domains, and well, the very first thing I want to start with is, well, what are the domains of get a ride? Well, there's always going to be like a profile, right? But a profile can be part of an account, right? Yeah. So account seems like it would be the umbrella of a profile and anything else that's related. Yeah. Okay. Or would that just be a dashboard? Yeah. Or would that be a portal? Yeah. La 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 la. Well, we could just call it home, but is home or portal or dashboard? Dashboard means that there's data coming in that you can view, right? There's monitoring. That's the dashboard. Well, this Get a Ride app isn't really monitoring anything. When you launch the app, you just make a request. But when you launch the app, after you create an account, all subsequent times you should automatically be logged in, should know who you are. So we should probably call that we'll just call it a portal. All right. So we have this portal, right? Okay. Portal what? Well, here's the thing. There's going to be a suite of projects per domain. There's going to be a portal.specification, right? And there will also be a portal.test. And I'm just going to start creating a hella projects right here. and we're going to delete you right now. All right, and there's going to be a come here. There's going to be a portal.test, and like this is the way I build systems now. I will delete you too for right now. So we'll create a folder and we'll throw these two projects, portal.specification, portal.test. We'll throw this under specification, or well, that's what it's going to go under, and then we'll create another folder under that called portal. Yes, come here. Okay. And well, portal is the only thing right here. Yeah, we'll create another folder called portal. Come here. Okay. This specification goes under portal. And what else do we have? Well, this portal is going to have some other projects. Like, for example, we're going to have portal.view view models. Okay. And we'll have come here. Portal dot domain, yeah, and we'll have view models domain, and we would have portal.gateway, but that's not necessary right now. Also, what we would have is a portal.ui. I don't think that's necessary right now either. We'll plug that in later. Yeah. So we have this. The way that we want to get this ordered is I want portal.viewModels to come before portal.domain. So one way of doing that is I could just, where's my home button at? Where's my home button at? Oh, I got to do control down here. Okay. So I could do something like this. Okay. Now I can hit Alt Enter on that project, and I don't want that number to be the actual assembly name. Ah, shoot, come here. So I'm not used to the home button being on. Do something like that. Something like that. Okay. So this portal.domain over here, we'll just call this 02 underscore. Okay. And then we'll enter on there, and then we want to get rid of that. Yes. Come here. Okay. So we got that going on. All right. We don't really have to do the same thing for the portal.specification, portal.test. We don't have to do that. Now that portal.test, actually that's supposed to be enough sharp. That is supposed to be a framework. So I screwed that up. We got to add this back again. So open folder in Solution Explorer, and we're going to re-add this. Remove this. No. Okay. We're going to delete you. Okay. And we got to do this over again. The specification, we have to say new project. And we want this to be a framework. Library.net framework. And then we'll say portal.test. Okay. Framework. And so then we can, I think we need to set this framework to, let me get in the habit of using the shortcut keys. Set this to console application. Okay, and I mean, I don't think it matters if I make this startup or not. That this part isn't necessary. Okay, now what? Well, so specification. I set up my portal domain, right? So one domain might be portal, another domain may be another domain may be, I don't know, ride, right? And this is the order that I like. Portal should come first and then ride second. Right. The ride will follow the same scheme, but we're not going to focus on that right now. And so for your portal dot specification, well, yeah, maybe we can start entertaining that right now. Control Shift A, add a new file and source file, and we're going to call this language.fs. Okay, and so we'll call this module portal dot whatever, however you spell that, dot language specification dot language, and down here we want to define the language that's going to be used in this domain. We want to flesh out the language that's going to be used in this domain, hence ubiquitous language for this domain. So because maybe I could zero in on scope to this, right? So we're scoped to the portal domain. And so what are some examples? And something's missing right here. It shouldn't let me go to my tools, options, project solutions. Yeah, it's tracked. Okay. So what's the language of this specification? Well, let's assume that you're already logged in, okay, to the application. What are some things you want to do when you want to get a ride, right? Because this is analogous to like Uber or Lyft, right? Those type of apps. So one thing you want to do is, well, to get a ride, what does that require? Okay. Let's define the we're not going to define, well, yeah, we could define an operation, right? That's fine. Let's create another file over here as we flesh this out. Come here. And we're going to call this operations.fs. Okay. And now what? Okay, well, operations, you're going to come after language. All right, so we have our portal dot specifications dot operations specification dot operations specification dot language. Okay, so now what? Well, we're going to flush out the main operations for our portal. And as we flesh out the operations for our portal, that's going to basically contribute or basically populate the terms that we use in our language module up here. So what does that mean, right? Well, so for an operation, you have an operation which is basically get a ride. I'm not sure what the actual name should be, but right now, call it get a ride, okay? And that get a ride is going to take what? Well, the get a ride is going to take your current, well, it doesn't have to be current, right? It's going to take a location, okay? And what else? It's going to take your destination, right? Okay. So we said location, but location it can mean two different things, right? Location and address, I think, are synonyms. We'll say address for now. But we have to think in the term of, I don't know which is better, address or location. Uh, when you're getting a ride, they want to know your location. So we'll go back to use location. Okay. Now, so when you get a ride, you put in your location, you put in your destination, and what should you get back? Well, if you get a ride, just get a ride operation. When you put in your location, you put in your destination, you should get back a driver. Okay. Okay. So your get a ride operation takes a location as one input, a destination as another input, and returns you a driver for this get a ride. Good stuff. Okay. So how does that translate? Well, okay. Well, for get a ride, we say type in our language module, we say type location. Okay. Now this location, as I think about it, it can really be a discriminated union, right? So like it could be current location, or it could be, I don't know what that is right there. Oh, come here. I keep hitting the function button. Or it could be a address. Okay. Now what? Is that enough? Well, maybe. This this could be of a coordinate, like a GPS coordinate, or it could be an actual address. Okay. Now, for your current location, there may not be an address, right? You may be at the park, or you may be on a road in the middle of nowhere, and there's no houses, there's no structures, right? So in that case, you probably want the GPS, right? So your current location is of um, GPS coordinate. I can't spell, but something like that. Okay. And well, we just flushed out a new type, right? We can say type GPS. What the freak? Type GPS coordinates. Okay. And that's going to be, it was a latitude and longitude or something. And so we could say latitude and longitude. Yes. Okay. And then, well, hell's bells. It's like a storm of types, right? This is like type storming, right? So, you have type latitude, and that's going to be of an int. And really, it's an unsigned int, but there's some type of compliance thing that various unsigned types, like I don't know how you say it, unsigned int 8, unsigned int 16, unsigned int whatever, they're not always meeting some type of specification, but int will. But if we use an int, then that kind of defeats the whole purpose of making illegal states unrepresentable, because now negative values are allowed, which means that we probably have to have a smart constructor to basically mediate, for lack of a better term, bad data. Okay. So you have type latitude equal latitude of int. Okay. And it's pretty much the same thing over here. I have not used my keyboard in a while. Hold on. How do you do this? Okay. Boom, like that. And then you say, come here, Willis. And then you say, God damn it. I don't know how to use this keyboard. Okay. And then you do something like this. And we want to do longitude. Yes. Come here. Longitude. Okay. And we say, come here. Say longitude. Yes. I can't spell longitude, but whatever. Maybe that's how you spell it. I don't know. So we have latitude and we have longitude, right? And that's what your GPS coordinate is. Do we really have to say GPS coordinate? Yeah, I think we probably should have GPS as the prefix. Uh, or we could just call this location, right? But we already have a location right here. So GPS coordinate, I think, is fine. Okay. So then your address. Well, your address can really be one of two things. It could be like address of a building, or it could be well, no, it can only be one thing. It's the address of a building or a structure, right? So your address is going to be of type address. Come here. Of type address. And so when we do that, we say type address equals, and then this is going to be of type record. And we're going to say, I don't know, address one. That's going to be a string. And then address two is going to be string. And then we have city. And then that's going to be a string. And then we have state. And that's going, I probably shouldn't be a string. I should probably list all 50 states. But that's only 50 states in the United States of America, right? So let's imagine that we want to scale this to different countries. Then there probably should be a string, right? But countries still have a finite list of states or territories. Right now, it's just going to be a string. Okay. So if I do Shift Alt and then the arrow key, I could be cool and do something like this because I'm a G. Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, do you need postal? I don't think you need postal. You don't need postal. What? Yeah, do you? Yeah, okay. So in the United States, we say zip, your zip code. But I think in other places, they call it postal. I don't know what the difference is. All right. But that's going to be, well, in the United States, it's a number. But I think in like UK, it's alphanumeric. So we're gonna play it safe like that. Okay. Then you gotta also take into consideration for correctness that yeah, I mean you can go in so many places. Your postal can be its own type or its own discriminated union, and you can have the cases as United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Zimbabwe. Like you can take it pretty far. But I think that's adding unnecessary complexity right now. That's what I think, right? So we have defined the following types right here so far. And what's this over here? Oh yeah. So we gotta open language. And well, we opened up language. Now what? Well, it doesn't know what a destination is. Well, this destination is, oh, why is this destination is your location. Okay. So how do we want to frame that? You have your location, which is either your current address or some address, and then you have a destination, right? The destination has to be an address, right? So we can do something like this, right? We can say Down here, we say type destination equals address, something like that. Okay. And then hungry, hungry hippos, that should accept it. Do I really have to build this? Control Shift B. And do I need to include this whole thing? I guess I have to include the whole thing. Okay. So our get a ride operation, right, takes the location, takes the destination, and it returns a driver. Okay. So this driver we haven't defined yet. And we can say type driver equals, and what really is a driver, right? Well, for this get a ride app, your driver, I guess we can make this a record, and your driver is going to be it's going to be the name of the person. We could say person name. We'll just call it person, okay? And well, your driver is going to be person name, and we probably want to include the actual car, which makes me think that driver probably shouldn't be the right term, but yeah, it shouldn't. Scott, you're so smart. Okay, you're right. I'm so smart. Okay, so this is going to be ride, and this is going to be driver. Okay, and your driver is going to be type driver, and it's going to have a car that's going to be of type car. We assume it's a car, but it doesn't have to be a car by definition of a car, right? It's really a vehicle, right? So we say vehicle. Okay, we say vehicle. Yes, come here. Okay. So we have a ride and we have a driver and vehicle, and we need to define this in our language as well. Yes, come here. So we say type and we say driver, and it equals, we're going to have a name, we're going to have a first name, and that's going to be of type first name, it's going to be of type name. No, it's going to, I don't know, name or first name. It's going to be of type first name. All right. And this last name, that's going to be of type last name. Okay. And yeah, so then we have to define what that means. And so we say type first name equals first name of string. Okay, and then pretty much do the same thing over here. Come here. Luda, shoot, come here. Why is it so? I fucking hate this keyboard. Okay, so then why is it so hard? Why can't my Control V? I'm getting my Control V and my function keys confused. Oh, okay, so then over here we say last name, pendejo. Okay, and so then we over here. Yes, I keep hitting the function key. Okay, so it's back on my clipboard. All right, boom. And that's Latin name. No, it's not Latin name. It's last name. Okay, yes. So we flush out all these different types, and I keep hitting the function key every time I want to hit the control key. Control save. Come here. And we still have to define vehicle. Okay. So we'll go down here. We say type vehicle, vehicle equals, and then that's going to be a type record, and well, there's going to be a there's going to be a make. I don't know what the difference between make and model is. I really don't. Make, and that's going to be a of type make, and model. So I guess the make is like Honda, Ford, Toyota, and the model is like Accord, Mustang, and Sequoia, something like that. So okay, model is model, and come here, and we say year, and that's going to be that'll be year. Okay, so we have our vehicle. Uh-oh, we're missing something. What are we missing? We're missing color. Now, I don't like this because a car can come in two different colors, or it could come in more than one color. So we'll whatever we'll give it that. Okay, and then we'll define all this over here, and we'll say type make equals make of string, and I mean you're going to assume that the make is finite, right? You're going to assume that all the cars. Well, you can't assume that, right? Someone can make something street legal, and it may not be a major manufacturer that creates it, right? You have these exotic cars that aren't meant to be street legal, but the ultra rich, they'll pay the extra money to make it legal. And so that's why we should probably maintain the string type and not a discriminated union of a whole bunch of Toyota, Honda, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, Maybach, etc. Okay, Mercedes, BMW. All right, so okay, so we'll probably do. Come here. So we'll probably do the same thing. We say type, we say model equals model of string. I mean, this is my favorite part of programming, man. It's just fleshing out the all the different types because I feel like you win half the battle by just defining your types, and you use those types to constrain your program to working right. So we say type, and this is therapeutic for me, right? Year, and then we say year of int. Okay. Now what? This year, this year is call this 2-digit year. 2-digit year. Okay. Because I'm a G and I like to be explicit. Okay. So we got that. Okay. Now what? Oh, well, Willis. Hold up. Come here. Okay. Now what? We got all right, so now my muscle memory is starting to kick in and I'm actually starting to be successful at hitting the control button or control key instead of the function key. We got to do color, right? Type color equal color of string. Okay. And But is that really right? You look at the Uber or Lyft app, they have like they have your basic 64 colors more than likely, just like Crayola. They have your Crayola, whether it's 8, 24, or 64 colors. And yeah, I think I should do that. So your color is make that a discriminated union. Red. Yo, come here. Shoot. Come here, come here. This right here. We'll bring this back. Okay. I don't understand this keyboard. Okay. Red, blue, okay. Green. I can't spell green. Green, black, white. What else? Yellow. What else? Purple. What else? So red, blue, green, black, white, yellow, purple. There's brown. That's a major color. Anything else? There's orange. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? The RGB is red, green, blue. RGB, red, green, blue. I got that in there. Black, white. Got that in there. Yellow, purple, brown, orange. We got to add gray. I think we're done. Okay. I think we're done. How many does that add up to? Why is my phone ringing? Um, so now my OCD is taking over. Hold up. Okay. Okay. And something like that. Okay. All right. So we defined all that. Control Shift B. Everything should be happy. Should have a green build. Okay. And everything is happy. We have a green build. Now, if we look at our operations, for our get a ride operation, we have our location, we have our destination, and we have our ride. Yeah. Okay. So we defined so far, right? We're defining our portal. Okay. This is our portal domain, and our portal domain is going to have a specification. Your specification is composed of two different parts: a literal specification library as well as a specification test project as well. That's your specification folder, and this is going to go for each domain. Okay. Now, part of the domain, in addition to the specification, is you're going to have your view models library of your domain, and you're going to have your domain library of your domain. There's also another one, which is your data gateway, but I'm going to omit that for right now. Okay. I feel good. Now what? Okay. Well, so far we said that in our portal, you should be able to orchestrate a ride. Okay. So now what, Willis? Well, we don't need the script.afx. No, sir. We don't need that. All right. Now what do we need? Well, we need to add a no. What am I doing? We're not ready for that yet. Specification.tests is what we care about. Okay. And that it, well, we could close you. This right here, we're going to call this get ride. Yeah, come here. Yeah. So this portal.tests, I'm surprised it didn't complain. La. This is I know why I didn't complain. When we call this module and then call it portal.tests, test, it probably will complain because the module name matches the project name. And so we could say let foo equal something like that. If we do Control Shift B, yeah, that's what I expected. Okay, so this module is called get a ride though. So or get ride. Okay, Control Shift B, everything should be happy. Okay, so we'll call this portal.test get ride. Okay, so over here we want to actually we want to flesh out our tests. So what does that mean? Well, there's a couple things. So one is we'll call this uh, one this test orchestrate. Scott, you're being too complicated, man. People don't understand that. Okay, get a ride. Mid ride a get ride, or you can say, do I really need to spell this out? You, like I was going to say, you could say, providing location and destination returns a ride, results in a ride. Okay. Providing location and destination results in a ride. Okay. Now, is that what we really had in our language? A ride. A ride is a driver in the vehicle. Okay. So now what? What are when I interview candidates, I ask them a question, right? I ask them a lot of questions, but my favorite question to ask candidates when I interview them is, what are the 4 stages of a test? And because I interview developers, they all fail, right? Because they don't have a tester mentality, which is unfortunate. Anyway, set up, test, verify. And the fourth one, which is actually implicit, is tear down, right? But our garbage collection handles that. Okay. So now what? Well, Willis, I'll tell you. Now what? Well, this portal.test, we're going to have to add some things, right? So, for example, we are going to have to include in unit. Every time we'll do in unit test adapter too. And then we'll also do in unit. And we'll do FS unit. Yes. Oh, shoot. FS unit. Yes. Okay. No, what are you talking about update? Oh, okay. You want to upgrade to 5. I don't think if I do this, is it going to bite me? Okay, Control Shift B. Okay, no complaints. All right, so now we can apply our attributes. Well, I guess we have to import open in unit dot framework, open fs unit. Yeah, okay. And over here, you can say test, test, okay. Now what, Willis? Well, I'll tell you. So we can say something like false should equal true. Okay. Now, the question is, will the test get discovered? Control Shift B. No, I mean, I added the test adapter. Yay, our test gets discovered. Good. And I run it and everything should fail. Okay, cool. Now what, Willis? Well, I'll tell you. So this is where we kind of get into TDD, except I first identify the language and the operations that utilizes that type of language. And then I write my test. So let view model equal, and I don't know, it's still a view model. View model. And what else? Well, this view model, what is it supposed to do? What am I testing? Well, I'm testing that view model dot location is going to receive, in this case, mock some location. Okay. What else, Willis? Well, I'll tell you. Your view model dot destination. I fucking love programming, man. View model destination equals mock sum destination. Okay. What else, Willis? Well, providing location and destination returns a ride. So you can say something like this, Willis. You can say view model dot ride should equal, and then we can say mock some ride. Okay. That's our test. That's our test. Okay. It doesn't compile. Of course not, because we haven't defined a view model. Now, next chapter, view models. Yes, come here. Control Shift A, add a file. Yes. Over here, we say view model. View model pendejo. .fs. Okay, we got our view model over here, you know. All right, so now what? Now what, Willis? Well, I'll tell you. We namespace, and we say that this is our portal.view models. Yes, okay. And we have our type. And what are we going to call this? View model, I guess. View model. Well, do we really want to call this view model, or we want to call this get a ride? And my TV just magically cut on, which is very creepy. Hold up for a second. So apparently I have a poltergeist or paranormal stuff in my living room because the TV magically cut on. All right. Anyways, so we have our. We want to name this "Get a Ride." Get a ride. Oh, I don't want to do that. Get right. Okay, that's the name of our view model. And what is that going to have? If I'm doing this right, it should be member X dot, I don't know, location with get equals location. And set equals, and that would be a, how do I do this? Location, it's mutated by a value, something like that. Okay. And okay, so let mutable location equal what's this? Well, all this is going to be text, right? So we'll just make it empty right now. Now what else? We have our location, and then we have our I keep hitting the function key. We have our destination, right? That's supposed to be next. Remember, destination, and we'll do something like that. And then we'll just destination. It's muscle memory. All right. Practice. And we'll do our Rouse. Come here. Yes. Control S. Okay. And there must be consistency in order. OCD. OCD. Come here. Okay. So we have that. And OCD. Things must align. Yes. Okay. So we have our location, destination, and what's supposed to happen? Well, we're supposed to get a driver, right? This is our view model. And let X dot driver, this right here, let mutable driver equal, and this is see, none of this stuff is going to be a string, I don't think. Like, well, the location could be string, the destination is a string on the view model, right? But in the actual domain, nah, these are actual like coordinates and address types, right? The driver, that's going to be a driver, okay? So right now, how's this going to work? Right now, because this is the view model, how's this going to work? Let's imagine that this was a XAML type application, whether it's WPF or Xamarin Forms. Okay, I mean, it's a mobile app, so if it's going to be XAML, it would be Xamarin Forms. And well, the driver right now would be null. Yeah, he would be null right now. because this is the actual class. We're not doing functions right now. This is a class. And so this driver would be null, and I think that's okay right now. I mean, I'm not a fan of nulls, but I think this is okay right now. And what we would do is I'll leave it like this. Okay. So let's go back to our test. And what we didn't do is the test part isn't assigning those properties. It's not assigning your location, destination, voila, you get a ride. Your test is you have to submit that view model dot uh, submit, for lack of a better word, um, or you could say request. It doesn't matter. Okay, and I know that's going to be of type I command. So you got something like this. I think it's something like that. Now what? So we need to add a request command. And I don't know how to write a delegate command off the top of my head, but it's going to be like member x dot request. Okay. And that's going to be equal. Let me see if I could do this. See, I can't do this. So if type delegate command, I just don't have this. I'm like trying to figure this out. I'll go up here. Open system dot in system dot. I thought it was called input. System dot windows dot input, and then here you can say see, I mean, it's going to interface with, it's going to implement I command. There should just be a command part. Like, I gotta figure out how to do this. So, Bismonger delegate command F sharp. This is why we have technical blogs. Okay, go back. Make sure I copied it. So this is actually going to introduce, hit the home button to get out of here. This is going to introduce a app dot foundation, and we'll add a .NET standard. We'll call this UI logic. Okay. I'll call this, come here, delegate command. And apparently this is all I need. Does this build? Did I hit the build button? Okay, now let's Visual Studio is hanging. Build started, build succeeded. Okay, so in our view model, add a dependency to this UI logic over here. And so, I don't know, what's all this other stuff? I guess I could get rid of all this other stuff. It doesn't look like it's being used. I can go back to my view model and request equals delegate, come here, delegate command, and I'm going to have a function that has some input and it's going to have some side effect. Okay. And then I'm going to have another function that has some input and it's just going to return true for can execute. This delegate command should be found now. Open UI logic. Oh, hell's bells. Okay. So smart. And hold up, OCD's taking over. There must be order. Okay. And so our request is now here. This can execute should really be checking yeah, this can execute should really be doing the following. It should be just get ride as X, and then we should probably say let validate, or say can request, and that'll be unit equals, and then we can say if X dot location not equal null, and then we could say and X dot destination not equal empty string. That's what I meant to say. Then true. Right. And there's a shorter way of writing this. Else false. Now, there's a shorter way of writing this, and I'm going to rewrite this because this is a lot. Okay. So what's the shorter way of writing this? You just get rid of that and get rid of that, and that's it. Okay. Now what? Well, I'll tell you. So we go back to our test. This get a ride view model. I think we need to add an assembly over here. I don't think we did it yet. Add it to that. Added specification. Add UI logic. I think that's what we need right now. And if you remember, I keep hitting the function button. If you remember, this get ride is the name of our view model. That's not what I meant to do. This get right is, oh yeah, I forgot something. Something else I need to do is this is I command. All right, that's the interface that's going to implement. So we need to expose that request as an I command, so we could call the execute method on it. And we need to import this portal.viewModels from our test. Open portal.viewModels. Okay. Now that get ride should just work. Get ride. So if I do Control Shift B, that get ride should get recognized. What I didn't do is I didn't define these mocks. I still have to do that. But this right here should get recognized. And that gets recognized. So now, what's this mock stuff about? This mock some location, mock some destination. What's that about? Well, I'll tell you. So we can, under this app foundation, we can add, I keep hitting function shift instead of control shift. Control shift, that's not what I want to do. I want to add a new project under this app foundation. And let's be new project. Come here, Willis. And we want a class library.net standard. Okay. We're just going to call this a, I'm too lazy. Call this test API. Okay. Your test API is going to have a module called mock. Yeah. Love programming, man. I love F sharp. Your test API is going to have a project, or it's going to have a module called mock. And here is where we can say something like let some location equals 21 Jump Street. Okay. And let some destination equal, I don't know, East 99th. Oh, come here. East 99th, St. Clair. Okay. And execution double nine style. Okay. So we have that over here. Some location, some destination. That's what we added in our test API. Yes, come here. You get right. We need to have a dependency on our test API. Come here. Add that dependency on the test API. Come here. And we have to open our test API. Yes, come here. API pendejo. Okay. And Control Shift B. And that should be it. Because mock some location, yeah, that should just work. Even though you gone, you still got love for bone. Why didn't that work? Test API is not defined. It's not defined. Do we not add a reference to test API? It's in here. Oh, well, no. Yeah, that should work. Hold up. Actually, aren't you working? Namespace, test API, module mock. Open test API. It says it's not defined. Okay, so build that. And in our portal, our test, hold up, something's wrong. What's this complaining about? We should just be able to build, and it should just work. We added a reference to it. Why is she working? Re-add add reference, test API. And okay, that was weird. So a test API finally gets registered. This view model.ride is it's not ride, it's driver. Well, no, it should be ride. Okay. And we have this little copy paste inheritance over here. And LTD says we should still be consistent. Okay. And so ride is not defined. The hell it is. I just defined it right there. Control Shift B. And we still need to define some ride over here. Okay, so we go to our mock over here and we say let some ride equal, and well, what do we define ride as? If I go to my language, a ride is a driver in a vehicle. Okay, so you do, you can say, how am I going to do this? Let some driver equal, and a driver is going to be first name, last name. Let some driver equal, and well, first name equal John, last name equal Roach. Okay. And we need to open up this test API needs to have a reference to our specification. Okay. Now what? Oh, yeah. First name, last name. Open. And this is how do this? Open portal dot specification dot language. Should be it. Okay. And what else? It was driver and vehicle. Let some vehicle equal. Why is my, what the freak is going on? Hold up. Why is my curly braces? Okay. So make, model, 2-digit, year, color. So we say, okay, make equals, and say make Honda, and then model equals model Accord, and what else is there? There's make, model, and then there's year. Year equals, and then 2-digit year, and then it's 99. What else is in here? Color. Color equals, let's say red. Okay. It says 2-digit year is not defined. How is it defined? What are you talking about, Willis? 2-digit year, year of it. Well, hold up. That doesn't make sense. Hold up. Where is this year defined at? Uh, da, 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 da. We'll have to enforce that. Shoot. We'll have to enforce that 2-digit year somewhere. Okay. So Honda Accord, 2-digit year, red. Now what? Well, down here, that some ride is going to be driver equal some driver, and well, say vehicle equals some vehicle. Okay. We just bring this back over here, and we could bring you back over here, and we can go back over here, and that mocks some ride. Well, that's some ride right here, right? So some ride, that should be it right here, right? So if I do Control Shift B, then that should at least compile. The test isn't going to pass, but it should at least compile. And Visual Studio is hanging again. Mhm. And OCD is happy now. Okay. Yeah, you should. Okay, so you compile, right? Build succeeded down here. Now the test should still fail, even though everything compiles, because we didn't actually assign that thing. Okay. So, well, how do we do that thing? Well, this is where we need to inject some dependencies. And I'm not sure if I actually have the patience to do this right now. I'm kind of, this is going to fail, right? If we go back to our view model needs to actually, yeah, see, this is the execution right here. And this ride nothing happens to it, right? What we really need to do is in get ride, we need to provide our data access layer and inject that into here. So when you query something, you're usually like querying a database, right? Um, Meaning that the data is already stored. That's what I think a query means is you're querying data that's already in a data store. When we're getting a ride, like this is like real time. This isn't like really querying a data store. This is actually fetching to see who's available. Now, if I say query, I say definition, a question, especially one addressed to an official organization, ask a question about something, especially in order to express one's doubts about it or to check its validity or accuracy. Well, okay. Query might be acceptable word, especially. Well, okay, I'll stand corrected. So we could use query. Okay, and so this, how would this work? Query dot what? Query dot ride, and yeah, that would be right. And that query dot ride is going to basically be the location and destination. Okay. Now, me, I'm cool. Okay. And because I'm cool, I usually like to show how cool I am by using the following syntax to show off my coolness. So, shoot, I just did. Hold up. Okay, go back. So to show off my coolness, because I keep confusing the control key with the function key, I usually do something like this, and then I'll do something like this to show off how cool I am. Okay. Now, this query.ride is not defined, and that's understandable because we need to define that as a type. So in this app.foundation, not app.foundation, oh, let's go to this portal right here. And let's go to specification and let's go to, yeah. And so operations will have type query equal, and then we'll have rod in here. Yes, come here. Okay. And that's going to be a ride. Yeah. Okay. So we have query.ride. Yeah. Okay. Now, is that what I, no. Is that right? Mm, that query.ride is going to be a ride query. Okay. That ride query is going to, oh, hell's bells. That's it right here. All right. Let's get a ride. We just call this ride query. Oh, I love the way Legos stack up. Okay. So we have that right there. Location, destination, ride. No, there's other things that are missing in here. Like, should really be the, this is the rider, or we'll call this passenger. Passenger. I think passenger has two S's in it. I can't spell passenger. How do you spell passenger? Passenger have two S's in it. Passenger has two S's in it. Okay. So in the type, we can have type passenger, and that's going to be the same thing as let's say type person. Type person, and that's going to be a something like this: first name, last name. All right, that passenger is going to be equal passenger of person. This person's supposed to be uppercase. No, no, I don't like that. Let's say yeah, we'll leave it at that for right now. Driver is going to be driver of person. Okay. OCD, things must align. Yes. Okay. So passenger, driver. All right. Now what, Willis? Well, I'll tell you. So ride query, you take your passenger and you give it the location and destination, and you're gonna get a ride. Okay. That location, destination, that location, that doesn't really sound right to me. Okay. That location, now that I think of it, we should really call that a pickup. Oh shoot, come here, come here, come here. If I do Control R, call this pickup. Like, come here, Willis. Pickup, something like this. Okay, that's what it should be. What the freak is going on? All right, pickup, and I didn't mean pickup to go right there. So this is passenger over there, and this is pickup. Okay, and pickup. It should just work. Pickup. Why isn't this pickup? It says it's not defined. What the? Type pickup equals current or address. Okay, so over here, some ride equals some driver. Just some driver equals person. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Person equals first name, last name. That's person. Yeah, that should just work. What's this complaining about? The discretion was expected of driver but has person. So I think I just put driver like this. It goes away. Okay. And theoretically, I should be able to do this. Oh, Scott, I'm so smart. Okay. So Control Shift B. Now that query write, I still have to handle. So that query, it doesn't know what it is, right? So I have to say query. Oh, it's called query write. Semi operations or write query. Well, no, I'll just call it query. And that query, I didn't import operations. So we have to say open portal. Okay. Add a reference to portal.specification. Say portal.specification.operations. Okay. And so from there, query. And then that query should write. And then, yeah, what else? The type string does not match. So type string, expecting a string unit, but given the write query. Okay. So what was this saying? Boom, 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 location, string. Yeah. So this location, this stuff needs to, instead of these being strings, they need to be passenger pickup type in the destination. So, and that's understandable, right? So now what I want to do is you want to say request driver or request ride, and that function is going to basically do all the heavy lifting. Let request ride equal, then it's going to do the heavy lifting. Just got to figure out what that really means. And it's complaining about a. Okay. All right. So that query.write needs a passenger. The passenger. Okay. So here we have a passenger. Passenger. Is this smart enough? Yeah. Okay. So we know that we can probably add the passenger in here, right? Then that will result in 3 bars. Okay. But the thing is that location can't be a string. That location is, we call it a pickup. We need to change all this. Pickup. Let me see if it changed it in my test. No. Pick, pickup. Change that to pickup. Oh, God. Why is this so hard to do? Pickup. Okay. Now what? Let me see. So that's going to be pickup right here. And I eventually uncommented out. So this would be a pickup dot generate, and destination would be the same thing. Generate pickup. That destination would be generate destination, right? And these are functions that could go in our domain. So now we go to our portal.domain, and in here we can have a converters.fs, or you could call it transforms.fs. I'll call it converters. Okay. So module is maybe our namespace. Oh, I'd rather use module. Hold up, go back. Module is portal.domain.converters, okay? And you say let generate pickup, and this is going to be pickup text equals, and that is going to be, we need to import the specification in our domain, add a reference, specification, okay? And this pickup is a string, okay? So then we should be able to say pickup, and then pickup text. And the pickup is address to current. We have to figure out. Well, if it's numbers, then it's a GPS coordinate. So this generate pickup would have to figure out, would have to parse a string and figure out if it's a GPS coordinate or address, right? And so you could say if is GPS coordinate, shoot. Then you can say pick up. Well, you could say current. And else you can say, what is this? Current is, I have to go back. Else it's address. Latitude, longitude. This address is going to be this address is going to be like some record type, right? Like address 1 equals whatever, and then address 2 equals whatever, and then city equals whatever, and states equals whatever, and postal equals whatever. Stuff aligned, yeah. That current over here is a GPS coordinate. And so then, so you have to have latitude, and this is supposed to be 1, 2, 3, and then longitude equals 4, 5, 6. 4, why does my 4 work? 4, 5, 6. And so that's supposed to be like a tuple. Okay. And of course, all this is just dumb data. Like this still has to be like fleshed out. Okay. That is GPS. That is GPS coordinate text. And we're just going to say false right now. Okay. This has to be fleshed out too, right? So then this pickup says not defined, but it is defined. We defined this a long time ago. Yeah, so Control Shift B. And my system decides that it wants to hang. And what I want to do is they generate pickup and generate destination. Well, that's in my domain now. I need to have my view models project reference the domain project, and that stuff should just work. Now, what's this over here? Yeah, just get ride needs a passenger. Let Passenger equal. Oh, hold up. I don't know how to do that. I can say mock. But this should really be some passenger. Scott, Nimrod. Okay. Mock some passenger. So that's going to take a passenger. The other one is a query. And so this one should be mock ride query. Should probably be lowercase. And I have to define that as well. Mock. Yeah. Let ride. Oh, hold up. Yeah. Let ride query. How is this supposed to work? In my operations, ride query is passenger pickup destination. I don't understand why this isn't category. Ride query equals let's say ride query. How about that? And why is this not add reference to yeah, it's referencing a test API. Add reference to domain. Oh, no. It's specifications referenced. So this should work. We should say boom, ride query, and then equals, and then it should be fun, and then boom, and boom, and then that ride query is going to actually return the ride. So then we could just say some ride like that. That's the way it should work. Now, in order for us to reference that, probably have to say open portal dot specification dot operations. Okay. Now, that ride query, it takes a whole bunch of stuff. Fun pickup. Oh, that's all I had to do. Okay. And return some ride. Okay. If you go over here, some passengers not defined. I think I did define that. Control comma. Yeah. So Control Shift B. And mock ride queries not defined, which I thought I already did. Mock ride query. That's it right here. But it needs some. The expression was expected to have type specification operations query, but here it has specification operations ride query. Okay. Get ride. Okay. Control Shift B. Control Shift B. Now this is a sick bug that needs to be fixed. All right, everything builds down here. And if I this request.execute request.write, and if I get rid of that and I do a control KU to get rid of that, now what? Pickup is not mentioned. No, yeah. So I need to do that. And over here, do that. We need to import this. Is my view model referencing my domain? It's not. Okay, now I can say open portal dot domain dot converters. Okay, and Control Shift Control Shift B. Generate destination. I thought I had this already. Generate pickup was right there. I didn't have generate destination. That's a generate pickup right there. Generate destination. You call this destination text. And this destination is going to be an address. And then destination text. But that address is supposed to be of type address. Oh, shoot. So this address is, shoot, I didn't mean to hit F11. See, this address is actually supposed to be a case of actual address record, which means that there needs to be some type of order. Like this text needs to be split out into different chunks. And I mean, that could be done. You could do array.split, and then each index is going to map to a certain part, right? So for example, let, I don't know, chunks equal array.split. Where are all these different splits? Hold up. Array.split at, I don't know what that means. Splits an array into two arrays. Let's split into. Splits the array into at most count chunks. Make a long story short, this destination text needs to basically be parsed and assigned to an address structure. And I don't have it in me tonight to do that Saturday night. But you basically have address, and then you have like address 1 equals something, and then address 2 equals something, and then city equals something, and states equals something, and postal equals something. Okay. Okay, and you have in here implemented, and then we can, so we have our generate destination, and then that goes into query write. Type mismatch. The type write query is not compatible with query. So this query write. This is like the last thing I need to do. Query write query. Type write query is not compatible with query. And this write query is going to, this right here is going to return a write. And so what needs to be done is we want to say x dot ride to mutate to this right here. Of course, let execute equal, throw this up here. Of course, it probably doesn't really matter. And then put execute here. Okay. Execute can make that, that. Okay. Now, that still doesn't help. This query is the right query here. So query dot write. If we had it like this, then it should just be like this. And I'm getting ready to top out. This is like the last error. I really want to see this test go green, but I'm getting ready to top out. The type pickup does not match type destination. Oh, okay. Hold up. The type mismatch. Pickup, but given. Why did you type mismatch expecting a pickup or expecting a passenger pickup, but given a ride query? Passenger pickup destination. I don't even think I need this anymore. So this is pickup, generate pickup. And destination is generate. Oh, okay. This should be destination. And this should be pickup. Okay. This destination is an address. And here it says I don't know what that's about. Destination. Get rid of this. Now, if I do Control Shift B, the ride does not have null as a proper value. Okay. Okay. So that ride is going to be none. See if we get away with that. And so over here, that query is going to result in a ride option. It's going to either return some or none. Okay. And I'll let this build. And we get back over here and we can say some. Say some here, and I think everything builds. Build it again. And when I run the test, I have a feeling the test is still going to fail, but it shouldn't be that much work to make it pass. So if I click on this, expected driver, driver first name, John, whatever. Okay, so if I go back over here, set a breakpoint, and then hit Control RT. This ride is John, last name is Roach, whatever. And the some ride is some driver, which is John Roach. Yeah. So the difference is there's some in here. And I think that's what the difference is between this ride and then mock. some right. It's just not letting me do right now. If I go back to view models, yeah. I should be able to just let execute equals query, and then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that, and then that query should really result in a function that's going to be some value, or it's going to be none. It's going to be none. And in that case, we just, well, we'll just assign null to it. I mean, it doesn't like that though, right? Like it says that you need to have a ride of some sort. So view to ride should equal if I do pipe boom function, some b. Am I doing this right? I don't know. I quit. It's very close to this right here. It's failing right now, even though the data, it looks like it's matching up. Yeah, the only difference is there's a sum in here. And so I don't know if it's as easy as me doing this, then running this again. That should be it. It's not it. So that's it. I'm tapping out. I'm tired. But this is basically the plumbing for implementing some application for getting a ride. And, if I wanted to later on, I could add a Xamarin Forms project. And then that would be a view that I will probably add under here. And I would have like 00 underscore portal dot UI. And that would have my XAML stuff. And that would reference this view models in here. And that's pretty much it. So I don't know. My brain is tired. I can figure this out. It's just not working right now. But it has something to do with the option type. And that's it. I'm out. And how do I kill this? Stop broadcast.